Welcome to the Freak Show. What's up, Trojan? Taker Kid 17 here. Just chilling here in this early morning. And boy, isn't it a lovely morning? I just wanted to do this video. I know my hair looks like shite, but fuck it. I'm here to talk about Knux. Yeah, so I'm back, y'all. I want to welcome Usher from the TUWC. He finally started making vids. And I'm looking forward to his videos, man. If I don't put his link in this comment box, I'll put his link in the next video because I'm going to have another one later this week. All right. I'm going to talk about Knux. Mike Knox from TNA. Apparently he left. I didn't even know. I was chilling in my house and I saw Gene Carlos once again with the news. He's the new anchor man, I swear. He's like the anchor man of our group. He done posted a link about how Knux left TNA or something. How the Freak and Knux are gone. But the Freak's been gone, but the Menagerie page is on the alumni or something. And Rebel and Crazy Steve are still in the company. We knew this was coming because yo, that light is fucking annoying. Because this week on Impact, Rebel came out with new ring attire, which thank God because she looked ridiculous in the other one. She looks hot in pretty much anything, but she looked ridiculous in the old one. And as she was coming out, Josh Matthews was talking about with Mike TNA about Rebel was a member of the Menagerie, and now she's here with her fellow Texas girl, Brooke. The Menagerie went back to the circus. They went back to carnival business, is what they said in the group. It wouldn't surprise me if to sell that Crazy Steve left because otherwise, why would they say that? It wouldn't surprise me if Crazy Steve left sometime this week or this month and Rebel just went on her own. She'll probably leave in a few months too. But Mike Knox, great potential in WWE. I mean, I was always a fan of him. When I started watching, he was on a television hiatus after that bullshit with Kelly in ECW. Then he came back and started squashing folks. And then after a while, they put him on the main roster. They put him on Raw in a feud with Rey Mysterio. They put him on SmackDown, and he was just squashing folks, man. He was talking about breaking bones and all that, just crushing folks. And I actually thought that him and Luke Gallows could have been a tag team. In one of the games, the SmackDown versus Raw, I think it was 2010, I put them in a tag team. They have him in a tag team, Mike Knox. They have him in a tag team with R-Truth called Truth and Consequences. I actually created a team called Capital Punishment before WWE stole that name and made it a pay-per-view. And I named the tag team Capital Punishment with Luke Gallows and Mike Knox because I thought these two could have been an awesome tag team. But then he leaves, they fired him or something after Extreme Rules or maybe before, I'm not sure. And he was off TV for 3 years. He was telling people, fuck wrestling. I haven't heard that he was a drug dealer and he was dealing steroids or something. But yeah. And then Knux was one of the masked men in Aces and Eights. I predicted that he was, but I wasn't quite sure because he said fuck wrestling, so I was like, okay, he's pissed. He's gonna stay in Juggalo Champion shit wrestling. Andre Corbeil was the one that kept saying he thinks Mike Knux is a member of Aces and Eights. And I was like, oh, maybe he is. And then on the first Impact of 2013, I think it was, Sting and Kurt Angle ripped with Samoa Joe. They ripped his mask right off. And it was revealed to be Mike Knox. And it was a shocker, man. I think that was a live episode too. And then he was in the Aces and Eights as Knux. That's what they called him. And he was their big man. He was supposed to be based on Opie from Sons of Anarchy. And he was one of the last members of the group. Because after they were running wild in TNA for 18 months, the last program with the Aces and Eights was with Anderson, Ken Anderson, Mr. Anderson. And he took out Garrett Bischoff during his final match with Bully Ray, where if he wins, they got to disband. Knux tried to get involved, and he ripped his cut right off. And then he beat Bully Ray, and then Taz had to surrender his cut, and he rips Bully Ray's cut off of him. And that was the end of the Aces and Eights. Great faction, by the way. Awesome faction. I love the Aces and Eights. Or they did this or something with the other. Yeah, they were epic, brother. Awesome faction. Great faction, man. Fuck anyone that said that they suck. They were awesome. Could I have done better with them? Absolutely, but hey, you get what you get, right? You get what you get, and you don't get upset. So then, after like months of not being on TV because of that situation, Knux started airing like these vignettes with a story about like his house was destroyed by a flood or something in his family business. The fair went under. So they show Rebel. I thought that was like his fucking wife or something. They show Rebel with her beautiful ass or whatever. And they're like on the road. And she's like, let me come with you. So he brings her, and then he goes, I'm bringing Crazy Steve and the Freak. And then she's like, no way, no. And then they debut with this Freak Show gimmick. I guess it was supposed to be based on the upcoming American Horror Story Freak Show. It's Crazy Steve from Canada. Rebel, Chris Yemi's buddy that she got signed. Mike Knox is the leader. He's like the ringmaster. I even think up on Slammiversary or something, they came out with a little midget. And Rob Terry in a mask was the Freak, which I should have known, but whatever. And it was cool. They would have squash matches on Explosion. You would actually have their music playing for the whole match. They would squash the promans and all that. And Robbie E was like scared of the clowns. That was funny. And yeah, they did that for a while, and now I guess he's released. They even went to New York. I don't think they got a good ovation in New York. Fucking New York fans, but whatever. My thing with the Menagerie though was, as nice as that was, it was fun. It was unique, but I actually think TNA just did that for the sake of doing it. Like, oh, hey, let's do a carny gimmick. Let's have Mike Knox's redneck carnival family here. Because it doesn't seem like there was a direction for them. Like, it's like TNA just did it for the sake of doing it. There was no long-term planning. And you knew, like, after a couple of months, they would just stop being used. And then they would just slowly disappear. And I noticed that, like, they were used. They were in squash matches. They were in segments. They had a little feud with the Bromans. Then they wrestle in New York against the beautiful Bromans with the beautiful people. And then the Freak is gone. And then, like, besides Crazy Steve, none of them were on TV. I think Rebel was, like, in a couple of knockout matches, and she was on the calendar, but there was nothing more for them to do. So you knew Knux was leaving sometime this year. And, yeah, so Knux gone from TNA. I think that in WWE and TNA, he had a lot of potential. World champion material, I don't want to say no, but I definitely think he could have been like a long-term contender. Like, absolutely, you know. He could have been like TNA's Rusev. In WWE, he could have gone away places, you know, especially because he was there during the last stages of the TV14 era. You know, so, and TNA, you know, the possibilities were endless with Knux, but for whatever reason, they chose not to. And he should never be a face either, but whatever. You know, Rebel, he was probably tapping that, man. I know he was tapping that, lucky bastard. He was tapping Rebel. I heard he hit it with Melina, too. He was like, sexy canna, boom, boom, yeah. Yeah, he gave her a freak show. That's what he did. Same thing with Rebel. But yeah, Mike Knox, I wish him luck in his future endeavors. I'm like 92% sure that he's probably going to go to Global Force Wrestling. That's where they all seem to be going. Scott Hall burned his bridges, but I know Scott Steiner's going and Chris Sabin's going. But I want to wish Mike Knox, a.k.a. Knux, the best luck in his future endeavors because he's a great talent. And maybe we'll probably see him at CCW down here or something. But I'm sure he'll end up in GFW. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about Knux leaving TNA and what his future in wrestling is. New video later this week.